Talk with the Mighty Oba with my special guest, my good friend and brother DJ Bacspin from the Beat 105.5 out of Rochester, New York. He is a living legend in the world of musicology. He is a musical entertainment genius. And he is my good friend and brother, DJ Bacspin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, Mighty Oba. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. This is the first edition of my new podcast, Night Talk with the Mighty Oba. And I felt that I needed to bring on who I think is a pure expert in the field of hip hop and the culture of a generation, DJ Bacspin. How you think about it? What do you think about that, brother?
I mean, I think that's awesome that you would hold me in such high regard when it comes to, the hip hop culture. I echo your sentiments, as humble as I am. I do feel like, I am a product of hip hop and I grew up on it. I think it changed the world. I think it's still changing the world. And just to see how far hip hop has come and how big it's gotten, how global it's gotten, it makes my heart melt every day.
It shows the culture of our people.
Mm-hmm.
I think when all said and done, you're going to put hip hop, rhythm and blues, jazz music in the same genre, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. I absolutely do. And the ironic thing about that is that those genres started hip hop, jazz music, and rhythm and blues. If it wasn't for those genres of music, hip hop I don't even think it would exist. I mean, all of those, disco records and jazz records that's been sampled over the years, that's what made hip hop. Shout out to the legendary DJ Kool Herc, for bringing his equipment out and rocking in the Bronx back in 1973. If it wasn't for those genres of music, we wouldn't have hip hop. So, absolutely. I think hip hop at this point, we're almost 50 years old now. In 2023, we'll be, hip hop will be 50. So I think 50 years is a good testament of time of a genre of music to, be put up there with the elites.
Well, let me ask you this, DJ Bacspin.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a practitioner of the hip hop culture and its evolution. How did it evolve, and especially how did it evolve with you as a person?
Let me see. I think hip hop has, first of all, to answer your first question, has evolved so much from the humble beginnings where it started to now where we used to be in a rec room in a project complex to stadiums worldwide, Wrigley Field, Shea Stadium, New York Yankee stadiums. I mean, all around the world, hip hop is just global. So to come from such humble beginnings to where it is now, it's just amazing to see. For me, I think it started with those humble beginnings, seeing, Herbie Hancock at the Grammys doing Rocket. I had to be, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years old at that time, but it was like an awe moment for me, like a wow moment, like a jaw-dropping, oh, this is what I've been hearing, and now this is it. Like, I'm seeing it in the flesh when Herbie Hancock was scratching and doing all of this, and I'm just like, wow, that's it. And then from there to, Grandmaster Flash, and then seeing Run DMC and my idol, God bless the dead, Jam Master Jay, at the Fresh Fest back in 85, 86, I was in awe. I was in awe seeing how Jam Master Jay just had the War Memorial, which is now the Blue Cross Arena here in Rochester. But it used to be called the War Memorial.
Right.
And that place, to see so many people in one area loving this music, and one guy is in control of this whole thing, it was just awesome to see. And that's what I wanted to be. That's what I wanted to be a part of. I've always loved music from day one. You know what I mean? Listening to my parents playing, Frankie Beverly and Mays, Betty Wright's Tonight's the Night is ironically the first record I've ever, can visualize singing. You know what I'm saying? Betty Wright's Tonight's the Night. And when I did it, my parents and, my aunts and uncles and their friends were in awe of this little 3-year-old baby singing this song, but that's what music is for me. And when I got my Mickey Mouse turntable, Mighty Over, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. It was portable, so I could take it any and everywhere. I had maybe 2 records. One was Run DMC's Heart. It was 30 Days on one side, and it's like that on the A side.
Mm. Tell me when did you feel it was a cultural phenomenon, that this was not a fad or a generational? Because a lot of people said, "Oh, it's going to play out." It's gotten bigger, and bigger. When did you realize it was a cultural phenomenon?
Day one. I mean, day one when I first heard my first hip hop record, with Sugar Hill Gang. It was a wrap. I knew, I'm like, this is something new. This is something fresh. And then being a B-boy at heart, break dancing, DJing, graffiti writing, and MCing, rapping. Once it all came together in jail like that, I knew this is a force to be reckoned with. And then when Run DMC came and took over the world, it was no looking back for me or anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, it was just no looking back. It's like, we have arrived. This is not disco. This is something else.
Right. I want to ask you about one of my favorite artists who I know you know very well, and he most certainly was one of, I think, one of the greatest artists that I've ever seen. He was, of course, Biz Markie. He brought a unique style. He also later became a DJ like yourself. But how influential was Biz Markie's personality to the evolution of hip hop?
That's a great question, Mighty Over. Great question. And, hearing you talk about Biz Markie, it just brings back so many memories, because I have a lot of early memories of Biz Markie performing here in Rochester, just as a beatboxer. This is before he even had his own record. He was just beatboxing for Shantae, Roxanne Shantae, for those who don't know, Juice Crew. And, her, Marley Marl, Biz Markie, MC Shan, they came and performed at the Rochester Auditorium Theater. And again, I was there, thank God my parents allowed my big brother to, tag along, because, these are moments in time that you can't get back. Biz Markie is, is the original human beatbox. Some people think Dougie Fresh. I know they went back and forth about who started it, who created first. But Biz Markie, his humor that he brought to hip hop, his antics, his biz dance that he brought to hip hop, all of those things just elevated the culture that much more. It let people understand that we're not just one-sided. We can do so many things. You don't have to be a rapper. You can, beatbox. Like that's a form of hip hop. That was, birthed from hip hop. So I had the chance to interview Biz Markie. I had the chance of opening up for Biz Markie.
Right.
I got plenty pictures with him. I had the chance to sit down and talk to him and pick his brain about things. So, and the Biz Markie that people see, just the friend Biz Markie, kind of goofing around, he's a much more serious guy, or was, a much more serious guy than that. And he always sat down and talked to you. He let you know, the pitfalls of the game. Whatever you wanted to know, he told you, and he told you in an honest, real way. And he's just a loving, fun guy who will be missed, sorely missed in hip hop.
Let me ask you this. One of my favorite groups, because I'm always texting you on Saturday mornings with your show. It's one of the best shows that I have heard, the Back in Time Mix Show on the Beat 105.5. You know, I'm always asking for Q-Tip, but really it's Tribe Called Quest. How influential were they to the evolution of the culture?
Again, Mighty O, but these are groups that change the climate of hip hop. You know, before A Tribe Called Quest, you know, we had Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, you know, groups like that. They were great in their own right, but A Tribe brought that jazz element to the forefront. They were sampling a lot of jazz records, a lot of Miles Davis, a lot of, you know, Count Basie's and you know, Coltrane. Q-Tip as a producer, his ear is phenomenal, and he listened to a lot of jazz records, and so they infused that with hip hop beats, a jazz trumpet, a melody here or there, piano, looped it up, sampled it, and then created great music. Their lyrics were, I love artists that you can learn something from. You know, they're not just spitting mundane things to you. You know, Tribe Called Quest were artists that you could learn, you know, black culture, hip hop culture, jazz culture. All, you know, they taught you things in their music. So when they came out, it was like, okay, this is where hip hop is going now. And that's why hip hop has gotten as huge as it is, because all of these different artists brought something different to the table, and it expanded the horizons and the minds of everyday music lovers.
There was some turns in the music industry, and you mentioned somebody the other day, and this just shows you how much I pay attention to you. Schoolie D. How influential was he in the evolution of the hip hop culture?
I mean, people credit NWA with, you know, bringing the whole gangster rap genre to rap music, but Schoolie D was actually the first rapper who was cursing on records. And, you know, he's from Philadelphia, Hilltop Hustlers, and, you know, he was the first guy I heard say explicit things and talk about women in a, you know, derogatory way, or not so. He was the first rapper I heard do that. And, you know, now when NWA and Eazy-E and Dr. Dre and all of them came out, and Ice Cube wrote phenomenal lyrics, and, you know, what was going on out there in LA, it was like, okay, you know, now this is, you know, I think they took what Schoolie D did and just amplified it times 10. And although it was a lot of cursing, a lot of derogatory things being said, what people fail to realize, there was a lot of real things being said in those lyrics. So if you can get past the curse words, if you can get past, you know, the derogatory things that they, you know, say about women sometimes, if you can get past that and see why they're saying these things, why do they feel this way, why kids at 17, 18, 19-year-old are writing raps like this, then you can understand, you know, the oppression that hip hop comes from. People forget that. Right. Hip hop came out of oppression.
A lot of people don't realize that it is not surprising to me how well hip hop artists convert into being actors. Their ability to memorize lyrics and become lyricists, it seems that it's become a not an easy transition, but an expected transition, because you got to put the work in, like the Will Smiths, the DJ Jazzy Jeffs, Q-Tip, all have become great actors. LL Cool J is a phenomenal actor at this point. How influential was he in the evolution of the culture?
I give Will Smith a hell of a lot of credit when it comes to showing rappers how you can make the transition from being on stage to being on the big screen. Because he's the first one who really did it in a big way. When he got that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show, before then, rappers was getting cartoons.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we still weren't taken, seriously in the TV industry. But Will Smith let people know, like, I think his videos with Parents Just Don't Understand and Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble, I think those videos and TV execs look back and said, hey, I think we can market this guy.
Right,
and
right.
that's what they did. And he made the transition from the TV screen to the movie screen. And he's done it better than anyone.
Anybody. And it's unfortunate that unfortunate incident happened a few months ago.
The slap heard around the world.
Kind of takes away from the amount of real great work this guy has done. He had already, him and his wife were getting ready to invest millions of dollars into the community. But one thing I've loved about Will Smith with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, if you go back, it's still in reruns. He's still making money. It's a great, great sitcom. But he reached back, got DJ Jazzy Jeff, made him a part of the show. Queen Latifah. You can just go on and on how many people this guy brought with him along the way. And that seems to be a great part of the culture too.
Absolutely. I mean, each one teach one. My father always said, each one teach one. If you know something and you can, help somebody else with your knowledge, do that. There's no reason why you should hold back. DJ Jazzy Jeff has been was a huge part of Will Smith's success. Now Will was considered a cookie cutter, rapper. Safe, very safe. Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince won the first Grammy, if I'm not mistaken, for hip hop. But Jazzy Jeff was really the culture when it came to DJing, production, putting these records together. And when when Will and Jazzy got on stage together, I was checking for Jazzy Jeff. And maybe that's just a DJ in me, but Will gave the spotlight a lot to Jazzy Jeff in their performances because he knew the talent that Jazzy brought to the table. Right. So to see the transition that, okay, Jazzy, I'm coming. I'm not going to leave you behind, because he could have easily done it. Like, all right, the group's over. I'm about to go do my, TV thing, and good luck to you in the future. He could have easily done that. But no, I got a TV gig. You know what? Let me bring you along, throw you into these episodes, bring you out here to LA, plug you into these people, and look at Jazzy Jeff today. He's a global phenomenon himself. He's got his own DJ seminars that he does, and he's dope. So to see people stick together coming in the game later on in life, that's what I'm all about, man. Childhood friends should never end.
One thing that I've loved about the hip hop evolution is how well the Jay-Z's of the world have become tremendous businessmen, also producers, creating business entities, putting people to work. A lot of people, they have a lot of misconceptions of the hip hop culture. And I think a lot of people thought it was going to basically be a fad. And now, brother, we're going on 50 years.
A lot of people was just praying it's been a fad.
Yeah, they just celebrated Biggie's 50th birthday.
Right.
Him and Tupac, big time stars that lost their lives way too soon over, things that I thought were just unexplainable. But how big of a loss was it for us as a culture not seeing those two artists evolve?
Huge impact on the culture. To lose those two guys at the height of their careers, the things that they did for hip hop music just, I mean, a lot of white kids in suburbia got put on to hip hop because of Tupac and Biggie. You know, not that to say that there weren't ones before that, because they were, but I mean, as far as the masses, hip hop didn't start doing double, triple, quadruple platinum until Tupac and Biggie and Snoop Dogg's and those albums came out. So to lose that type of momentum for the culture, it hurt us tremendously. Record stores didn't want to sell hip hop music anymore. Video outlets didn't want to play hip hop videos anymore, or they were playing them less and less. Even radio, they stopped playing hip hop as much when we lost those two, because the culture is too dangerous. Rap is too dangerous. A lot of people, missed out on a lot of shows because they couldn't get booking, or the insurance price was too high because it was a hip hop show. But you can have rock and roll shows, and go on, and it's expected for violence or mosh pits and things of that nature to happen. But when it comes to a hip hop show, nope, we can't. Look, these two big guys just died in the middle of the street, and what they consider gang violence, so it set hip hop back, but it also, I feel like, made everybody take accountability and understand, the power of hip hop, what it can do and what it will do if you use it in a positive way, and what it can do and what it will do if you use it in a negative way. And that's just anything in life, So I think it let people sit back, take accountability, and hold themselves accountable for how they're going to move forward and pushing the culture forward. And I think, we've come to a better place since the death of Tupac and Biggie, and I thank God for that.
I gotta talk about the ladies in hip hop.
Okay.
They're killing it. They are killing it, brother. I love Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B. Love it.
Yeah.
This wasn't always the case. I mean, Queen Latifah, MC
Right.
Light,
MC Light.
Was it Roxanne?
Roxanne Shante. Yeah, Roxanne
Those are
Shante.
ones that kind of, broke the ice, but man, they're killing it now, man. Megan Thee Stallion is on fire.
Absolutely. I love the women in hip hop right now. It like you said, the Queen Latifahs, the MC Lights, the Roxanne Shantays, the Miss Melodies, they brought it to where it needed to be. And then you had Little Kim and Foxy Brown come along, and they took it a little further. Then you had Eve come along, and she took it a little further. Then you had Nicki Minaj come along, and she took it a lot further. And then once Nicki Minaj, I think that opened the floodgates. And Nicki was in hip hop, when it come to females, before the 80s, we had MC Lights, the Roxanne Shantays, the Queen Latifahs. So it was a group of female MCs out there. But in the 90s, all we really had was Foxy Brown and Lil Kim. Just them two. Then the late 90s to early mid 2000s, all we had was Eve. And then we had Trina, but it was just them two. That's it. Any other female rapper, forget about it. And then you got Nicki Minaj, and it was just really Nicki for a whole 10-year run. Close to it, 2008, 2009 is when she started to get hot.
Right.
And when did Cardi come out? 2017, 2018. So Nicki had a whole 10-year run where it was really just her. And then Cardi, Megan Thee Stallion, Sweetie, Lotto. Now you have all of these other female MCs who's killing the game right now. And I mean, literally smashing the game. I've never heard so many female hip hop records on the radio at one time.
We've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
There's one thing I love about listening to your show is when you start hitting the tunes and my man starts joining in with his little add-ons. What made you start doing it? And really, how did you get so good at it?
Honestly, Mighty Oba, that's a God-given gift. Records and recollecting records have always been an easy task for me. I just love music so much. And like I said, the first record I could ever remember reciting is Betty Wright's Tonight's the Night. God bless the dead. So, in high school, kids used to be like, they used to sit next to me just to listen to me so that they can hear the record, because they would say, I hear them saying it, but I can't comprehend it. But when I listen to you reciting it back, I can understand what he's saying.
Right.
So it's just one of those gifts that I've always done with my Walkman on as a kid, riding the bus to school, just always listening to music and reciting my favorite songs. And so when you hear me doing that in the Back in Time Mix Show every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on the Beat 105.5, it's just something that's in me. It's just the when I hear these records, I'm a fan first. So when I play these records, it's just something that gets me going, where it's like, I gotta get it out. It's like a release for me,
Gotcha. Well, brother, we're in our last 2 minutes. Tell people where they can tune in to DJ Bacspin, but also I know you do private parties and whatnot. Can you just put that information out there? Because people need to experience DJ Bacspin. Until you experience DJ Bacspin, you have not engulfed the total culture experience from this musical genius's point of view.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Mighty Oba. If you guys looking for me, you can find me on Instagram, DJ Bacspin. That's DJ BACSPIN. Bookings, djbackspin@gmail.com or backspin@gmail.com. I'm on the Beat 105.5. You can call me up, 585-595-1055. Every weekday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I also had a Back in Time Mix Show every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on the Beat 105.5. So if you guys looking for me, I'm outside. You can find me. I'm not hard to find.
We got about 20 seconds left. People need to know he's a Dallas Cowboy fanatic fan.
Absolutely. And I almost put my hat on.
Real quick. Give me what their record's going to be this year.
Probably 8-9.
8-9? Come on now.
That's the way I see it. Jerry Jones is a crutch for us. He's a crutch.
I got him 11-7. They still got good personnel.
11-7. Well, yeah, good personnel, but bad owner.
They're gonna win the division though. The division sucks.
It does. So I have high hopes for that.
Hey, bro, we're out of time. I appreciate you, brother. DJ Bacspin, the infamous, the living legend, the one, the only, the Hall of Famer, the one and only person in this area that has such a absolute foundation in the hip hop culture and its history. DJ Bacspin, pleasure to have you on, brother.
Likewise. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate the opportunity, and have a good one, man. Peace.